But when I was doing my practices, I was trying to visualize that audience. I was trying to visualize the room that I knew I'd be pitching in. I was trying to visualize the exact pacing that I was going to say each word with and the way I was going to pronounce each word.
So you just said a whole ton of stuff there. One is visualization is a fantastic technique.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous to ask, but how did you think I did?
Well,
welcome to the Live Truly Free podcast, where we provide fatherly guidance to entrepreneurs at any level of their journey. Hi, I'm George Black, and this is AJ. Are you ready for this week's adventure of building great companies and discovering the Live Truly Free lifestyle for entrepreneurs? Awesome, let's get started.
Hi, I'm AJ Bishop, and I'm a startup entrepreneur.
And I'm George Black, and I guide entrepreneurs. And today, we're going to jump into AJ's big week you've been having.
Yeah. It's felt very long, but...
So it starts off with this huge success, right?
Yeah, we got the license agreement done, so now we're allowed to sell our product.
Right. So for those, if you've watched previous podcasts, we've talked about this huge hurdle to break through, and because the product is licensed, it's patented, and so you've negotiated all of that successfully. Everything's decided. You're off to the races, and now you can sell.
Yeah, and a couple of days after we got that signed, we actually made our first sale. So two big milestones. My team.
Who did the sale?
Me, but
okay.
With the help of my team.
So see, I want to give them all the credit. He's being a good CEO, giving all the team the credit, but they're not here. Yeah, so you did it. That's awesome. Yeah. That's huge. The first sale is the biggest because it's like someone's bought the product. You've proven it's a huge market proof that it just builds confidence. It does so many things.
Yeah. And then shortly after that, about within the week, we had our big pitching competition there too.
That's what we want to jump into. I want you guys to hear some stuff behind the scenes. That's where we want to go with AJ on what's it like to be in a pitching contest with all the practice, all the nerves, all the everything going on. And so that's where we're going to jump in at. So let me just describe the layout, because I was there and they had a big room so the audience all sat out here, and then there was the stage, but all of the teams, which I found very interesting, were all off to the side, and where we could all see them, and they could see the stage. They had a great view of the stage, but they're sitting there the whole time just waiting for their turn to pitch.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? So talk about that. So you get to your seat, you're there.
Yeah, all I was doing was just thinking about my breathing. I'd breathe in for 3 seconds.
Really?
Then I'd stop. I'd hold the breath for 3, and then I'd breathe out for 6. And all of that was just to get control of my heart rate, because when you breathe out, you can slow your heart rate down. So just focusing on that, keeping my body under control, made me feel a little more confident as I walked on that stage.
See, AJ is a highly trained athlete.
Yeah, I wouldn't go highly trained, but
he played football at elementary school. And he learned. No, I'm kidding. I don't know this. But that's a very smart thing to do. I mean, athletes do that, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that, because that morning when I woke up, I felt like the morning I would when I would wake up and play football, and I'd have a football game. It's the butterflies are in your stomach.
Wait. So how old are you when you're waking up with the butterflies as a football player?
This was from 2nd grade to 8th grade.
Oh my gosh! Oh, so this is taking you way back.
Yeah, and then it was finally like a nice fall feeling day, so it really did feel like I had a football game later.
Right, yes. We're having beautiful fall weather. Yeah. I got the same feeling like driving to college.
Yeah.
And you'd go over the hill, and there you could see like the little skyline of the small town, and it was like, like it's August, and it's like, it's beginning. And it was the same feeling I got when I went to camp as a kid. Yeah, so we get those feelings, right? And it's like, it's that butterfly in this tummy thing.
Yeah, couldn't hold any food down. Like, I had a little bit of breakfast, and I was like, okay, this isn't feeling right. And that's,
really?
I had like half a croissant for the entire day. But
Okay, so see, all right, well, this is great. So I'm looking at AJ, and I mean, okay, so we're sitting really close here, but he's way off on the stage. He's dressed very smartly in his suit, and I'm thinking like, but I don't know if it's the suit or had you lost weight?
oh yeah, over the past week it's been like 5 to 10 pounds.
Oh, just 5 to 10 pounds. Like he doesn't have a lot to spare, and he loses that. Yeah. So look, there's physical stuff going on. There's emotional stuff going on. Not to mention the hours and hours of mental practice for this thing, right? Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and it hits me all in one moment, like, oh crap, this is not a sure thing that I win this.
So what's the feeling with that?
It's almost like insecure.
Okay.
Because leading up that summer, like we got ingrained in the community, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from everyone that like, oh yeah, we're doing good things, like our company's going well, like.
Right. So AJ worked in an incubator for the summer, and that's where he met a lot of other people, and that's who you're referring to, and they're all very super positive.
Yeah.
But then you sit down and you see these 5 judges, and you're like, I don't know if they're going to feel positive or not.
Yeah, it's that insecure feeling of like, are these 5 people going to have the same emotion or the same reaction to me as almost everyone else I had experienced?
Yeah. So, okay, this is really good. We're going to go into something that is super important. So whenever you're doing any kind of presentation, we're going to talk about feelings here for a minute. So we've already talked about breathing. So that's the physical body. And that actually has a calming effect, right?
Yeah. Oh, it lowered my heart rate so my blood pressure wasn't all high. And that gave me a lot more confidence in knowing like, all right, your body's settled, like your body's under normal conditions.
Right.
You're going to at least perform to your most basic function.
It's also the very same technique you use to like, if you're doing any sort of relaxation techniques or meditation, and it's like you breathe in, hold it, breathe out, breathe in, do it like 3 times. And that has a calming effect, and it helps the physical relaxation, helps the emotions.
Yeah, it was relaxing, and it I guess maybe it suppressed the emotions would be the best way to say it, in the sense that, yeah, I felt them, but it wasn't like they were controlling everything and that they were debilitating.
Right. Okay. So actually, that's not exactly what's going on. It's not suppressing your emotions, but we'll come to that. I'll explain what you were doing in just a second, because we can all learn from this, okay? Yeah. There's so much we can learn, because whenever you're going to be making a presentation to an investor, a pitching contest, I've done a ton of just financial presentations to shareholders, investors, to banks, conventional financing, all this kind of stuff. Man, the morning you wake up, the butterflies, the whole bit. So what we're really talking about here, a couple of things on feelings. One is what you are actually doing. You weren't suppressing your feelings. Because if you do that, they're going to bottle up kind of like a volcano and then blow. All right. But what you were actually doing was shepherding your feelings. I have all these feelings before the race, and then I dive in the water. I started shepherding all of those emotions into having a good race or having a good football game. Well, you did the same thing. Yeah. You had all these feelings churning up, the fearful, the dread, all this stuff beforehand. And then once you got on the stage, you begin to shepherd all those feelings into your material, into your presentation.
Yeah. And shepherd's like the perfect verb for it too. Because it's like, yeah, they're there, they're with you, but you're kind of leading them and kind of keeping them in their place.
I think most of us feel like our feelings are like the weather. We look out, we walk outside, there's a cloud burst, we're drenched in rain, there's nothing we can do about it. You know, we just get hit with overwhelming sadness. Well, just too bad, we can't do anything about it. It's just like a rainstorm. Well, it's not like that. Feelings, we can rule our feelings. We can govern them. And we can shepherd them. And I like the word shepherd because it's kind of like moving them along. And we need to honor our feelings. So what we're doing right now is we're honoring your feelings. And we're acknowledging them. Because if you acknowledge your feelings, especially the negative feelings. So like mad. I'm using a simple little thing to keep it all in my head. But madness, sad, and fearful, those three negative categories, if we acknowledge those feelings and we honor them, then what happens is it builds resilience in us.
Yeah.
And so because of how you shepherded your feelings in this pitching contest, you are going to be more resilient the next time you pitch your company.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you feel that?
Yeah, because you've been there before. You know that the emotions are coming. This kind of reminds me of a Dwayne Wade quote. I was just watching a documentary where he was reflecting on his 2008 gold medal basketball game. And it was a pretty close game, and he was in at the end. And he acknowledged, he's like, yeah, I was very nervous there. But I realized it's not going to go perfectly like I expected. It's going to be a close game because they're going to fight back too. But it's just about accepting that and knowing the preparation you put in is going to help you perform well.
So here's the thing. If you practice shepherding your emotions, I believe that's true. I believe you build resilience like that. I know every one of these teams practice their hearts out.
Yeah.
So it's not always more practice, okay?
Yeah, with that, I think it's meaningful and purposeful practice. Like the way I was practicing, I practiced a lot, but when I was doing my practices, I was trying to visualize that audience. I was trying to visualize the room that I knew I'd be pitching in. I was trying to visualize the exact pacing that I was going to say each word with and the way I was going to pronounce each word. Trying to practice after each sentence, take a pause. After each slide, taking a little bit of a longer pause. Like really focusing on this is my competition day presentation every time I practiced it.
Okay, so you just said a whole ton of stuff there. One is visualization is a fantastic technique.
Yeah, I loved it. It helped me a lot.
And it's actually how I learned how to slalom ski, snow ski.
Okay.
Because I couldn't practice on the ski slope because I live in Texas.
Yeah.
But through visualization, I became a slalom skier. So visualization is super powerful. And the other thing that you said was you practice pacing your words. So you not only practice pacing your breathing, because you and I talked about this. Yeah. You brought it up, I remember, where you said, like, I can tell I'm talking too fast. And that's just like losing control of your emotions, you know. And so you start practicing. So what you were doing was actually in the visualization, practicing shepherding your emotions by visualizing as much of the tension and pressure in that this is it. You've been working months for this 14 minutes.
Yeah.
It's all over after that. And it's no different than the Olympic basketball player or any of the top competitors. They've all practiced for that one putt, that one game, that one event.
Yeah. And then because you visualized it, once you actually get up there, your mind almost feels like it's done it before.
Yeah.
So it's almost, you're taking those mental reps and it becomes a much more comfortable place to be in because you've mentally been there.
Yeah. I think this is super helpful.
And now that we covered like how I was feeling in the moment and what I did to prepare for those feelings, I'm a little nervous to ask this, but because I know you have a lot of experience coaching pitches and giving pitches and judging pitches, and you're familiar with these competitions. So I'm a little nervous to ask, but how did you think I did?
Okay, first of all, I thought you knocked the ball out of the park.
Okay.
And I think you broke a few windshields in the parking lot. It was fantastic. It was clear, it was crisp. The best part of the whole thing was the questions, because they were throwing some tough questions, and it was like, they go, you just grab it, got that, boom. and these were technical questions about your product, because one of the judges doesn't make that kind of product, but knew all of the...
In the medical device
industry. Medical device industry, correct. And so I thought the way you handled all of that demonstrated your depth of how well thought out everything was.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people don't want to just hear you say nice things about me. They want to see you criticize me a little bit.
Well, let's take off the gloves, okay? So so this is universal, and so you're right. I've done, like, I judged a national pitching contest a few years ago. I've helped coach teams, and they've won. And here's what I've noticed, and I noticed this the other day among all the teams, literally every single team. I don't think one team did what I'm about to suggest. What I'm going to suggest is that if you do this, if you organize your pitch this way, I think it increases your odds of winning the pitch or winning the investor, winning the bank loan greatly. Okay?
Okay.
And so the first thing is you want to draw them in with this, where you're headed. What direction are you going into? Mm-hmm. And this is the perfect place to also bring in your passion. Okay. So it's and it can look like this. It's like, I'll kind of use your medical device. It's like all the devices out there in this particular rehab area are like medieval. And what we're bringing is in a new technology into this industry. I want to transform. I want my company to transform the whole way rehab is thought about and done. Now, it's not la-la land stuff. It's, you have to believe it.
Yeah.
That has to be from your passion.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to get there tomorrow. This is like the mountains hundreds of miles away. You can barely make them out, and you go, that's where we're headed.
Yeah, and that's like what we're talking about with leadership, where it's like that relentless pursuit of the vision or the passion. Yes,
the great leaders do that. You should watch that episode. We'll have to look it up. We'll put it in the show notes, okay? Which episode that is, where we talk about that, because that's what at that moment people will lean in. The audience will lean in. The judges will lean in. The investor will go, whoa. Well, now you quickly follow that with this, what you're going to do next. What's your next step, the next 6-12 months? In other words, that's where I'm headed, but here's how I'm going to start getting there.
Yeah. So you're giving people, you're starting to sell people on this vision that you so clearly believe in, and you're demonstrating that you believe in it greatly. And by you showing that you believe in it so greatly, you're going to get people's attention. And then once they lean in, you say, this is what I'm going to do, because now they're more inclined now to believe how you're going to get there, because now you're explaining to them the steps you're taking.
Well, it starts to make sense. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm orienting with 2 points. Mm-hmm. So here's what you see in most pitching contests. They start and they stop with what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
If I win the money, here's what I'm going to do. If here's what we're going to do over the next 6 months. Here's our competition, and here's why. So what we're designing is going to be different from the competition, or whatever. But it's all very, very short time frame. Like, here's what I'm going to do in the next 12 months. I have no idea where you're headed. Well, we're going to be making. Of course, you're going to know. We're going to make these products, and we're going to sell them. Okay, great. But when you tell me, like, here's one a few years ago that I saw, we want to train every person in America to know how much they're hydrating every day. That kind of a directional statement is like, my first question is, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you.
And that's where you get your next steps.
That's the next steps.
Okay.
So 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. So that's part 2. Are you done there, or do you just say direction?
Oh, no. We've got, now what we want to do is, I want to then take you out 3 years from now, 3 to 5. But I would say if this is a startup, 3 is plenty, because you're going to have some pivots in there. We'll talk about that, or have talked about it. But the somewhere about 3 years out, you want to say, in 3 years, we want to then have taken this device. So I'm talking about your device. We want to have a consumer equivalent device.
Yeah.
We think there's, because this deals with shoulder injuries. There's so many shoulder injuries or strains or whatever. We want to have a device that could be in every home.
Yeah. And so
unless they're couch potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of people who wouldn't buy.
Yeah. And so this all makes sense, and I'm kind of wishing I knew it a little earlier.
We didn't have time to talk.
Yeah. So it's basically like step one is you want to get people to buy into your vision, to your direction. Tell them where you're going.
No, it's not. I'm not trying to sell that. I'm inspiring that.
Okay. So inspire that. Don't sell it. Inspire that. And then the next step is you're telling them what are my next steps, and then you're telling them what those next steps are going to do for where they're going to get you to 3 to 5 years. So they see the grand vision where you're headed, and then you're telling them tangible steps that you're taking and where they're going to get you in the nearer term, and that makes them believe, oh, this is realistic, and now they're inspired on that vision and believe that you can fulfill that vision.
And this is why you should invest in our company.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like if you have a 7-minute presentation, if you had taken, I don't know, 45 seconds, maybe 60, but 45 probably would have been enough, and just set direction. And then at the very end of it, you kept everything else, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's all how you're going to do it. And then you wrapped up the 7 minutes with like another 30 or 45 seconds on the back end going like, so in 3 years, here's where we're going to be.
Yeah. Man, I should have done that. I wish I would have known this.
No. Not should. Should is a guilt-producing word. You could have.
Yeah,
you didn't, but you could have.
Yeah. At least I still did good, but now I know it could have been better.
You could have, yeah. This is going to be for the next one. This is going to help all you guys out there who's going to be pitching, right?
Yeah, that would have helped a lot.
Yeah. Well, AJ, I hope this helps everybody, including you, on your next pitch and stuff like that. So we'll see. Oh, wait a minute. Are you wanting to know the outcome of the competition? Who actually won? You think we should tell them?
Yeah, I guess we can. I won $25,000.
$25,000. That is freaking amazing. Congratulations. That is awesome. Yeah. Whoa. I'm sitting with the winner. This is so exciting. All right. So, have you spent it yet?
No, we actually haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
It's only been a few days.
Oh, okay. All right. So maybe that's a whole other episode, because when you have this kind of money come in, man, there's guys who blow it, and there's guys who take $25,000 and turn it into $250,000. So
that's our goal.
We'll have a lot to talk about on this. This is so exciting. So if you've enjoyed this video, I know you're going to love this one. So check it out. And in the meantime, may you live truly free.